allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chairman Wally. Your majors. Board liaison, it's strong.
Here.
Rudy, here. All in favor? Opposed?
Make motion to accept the minutes.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Yeah, what's new?
Oh, a lot going on right now in the township with, Thompson, made a pitch at the meeting last month. Data center in down at the, on my OB Road. Jeez. We gotta look into it, we need to go see one, see what. That's coming, we have DT coming with the well, sequestering and possibility of natural gas. Mowing ditches. Trees out of graves.
And open up the public comment on the CO2. Anybody got any comments? Just please state your name and where you're from. So if you got any comments, we have our engineer Dave that can help on any questions if you have right off the get go. Yeah, no, this, we haven't got that.
No, can't.
You can't?
No.
All right.
Comments are. This is comments is on the agenda. And the public hearing, comments going to public hearing.
Think we're gonna talk, okay, all right,
Once we open.
all right, let's open up the public comment, or the public hearing for CO2 injection.
No, I have some
You gotta
concerns.
vote on that, Dave?
Yeah, you gotta open up the meeting, and you vote on it, and then you say, okay, and then, yeah, do the same thing when you wanna close.
Okay, on paper, open up the public hearing.
Yeah,
Anybody opposed? Carries. Okay,
My name is Lori Gray. I live on Milwaukee Road. And I have some concerns about leakage and contamination of our groundwater. Leakage back to the surface through geological faults and fractures and or abandonment wells, if they have ever abandoned the well. Induced seismicity, which is earthquakes. It can trigger earthquakes with the ejection of large volumes under high pressure. It can potentially induce some small seismic activity in the area, which can compromise the storage and the integrity of these wells. It may be small at first, but it's porous, and the ground is porous. You have to think of it like a cake. If you're gonna put these straws in these cakes, you know, and that's another thing I have a question about is how many wells will be allowed in the area? So if we have one well in this area on Oakey Road, what's the mileage or square footage that you're gonna allow another well to be put down? Because if one comes in, there's gonna be more come in. And asphyxiation and toxicity is another thing I see. When CO2 is compressed and it rises to the level, because it will rise, because it's buoyant. How we take care of that. Communication for the community. Will we be alerted at any given time when there's something going on with this well for our protection and safety? Continued communication. And I believe there should be just some feedback on a lot of this. Mostly it's the safety of the community. Because we've never had this before in our community and it's new here. So those are my concerns.
thank you.
Name's Tim Stoll, I live down on Hunter Road. I got a concern about our well going dry. They're gonna go so many feet down. My well's 186 feet in the ground. What's to say that they're not gonna bleed that drain, that main of water that I tap into right now? And cause my well to go dry. Who's responsible for that? They should pay the invoice. I just spent $5,000 to have a peroxide system put in. They should pay the invoice for any damages done to my property or my water. Or anybody else's, for that matter. Within a 10-mile radius. Look at London Sand when they started pumping water. They took water from this area, it cost wells to go dry around here, along with the cement plant. When the cement plant quit and London Sand quit, my water table come back up 6 foot. There's a test well kitty corner from my house that the cement plant owns that they can go over and check. I think it's a joke. It shouldn't be done. Nobody in the township wants it.
Yeah, my name is Lori Gray. Is there going to be a baseline data on the location where this is put in as far as the surface water quality and the drilling and the injection? Before this drilling and injection is going on, is there going to be a baseline for the community before it's done? Like a geological assessment for suitability to put this well down?
Anything on that before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to clarify, this is the township engineer, we're here to discuss the ordinance to take care of most everything you've already brought to their attention.
Okay.
So this meeting is a public hearing so they can pass an ordinance specifically to address exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're responsible for our wells going dry?
Well, and well going dry, specifically with the CO2 injection. The problem that London Ag had as well as the other quarry, but they're sucking water out so they can do the mining operation. They're not sucking water out, they're actually, they're attempting to put CO2 in. Just to be clear, the only thing they've asked for so far to date is just a geological well. They're not even calling it a CO2 injection well. They submitted to Eagle for just a well, exploratory well. That's where we're going. But even if they do a CO2, they're not pulling water out, so your water, the well, will not go down. But within.
How do you know that? If they hit my main where my water.
Within the ordinance, we have section 10, which is local well monitoring, reporting, and access. So we are covering that as of right now within a minimum of 2-mile radius. And that's why we're here to discuss the ordinance that we put together.
I have a question. How are they going to prove to us the integrity of the well? Who's going to, how will we know? Because the ground is porous. This can leak anywhere or go into what's called the Pores Act or whatever. You know, it can go into these fissures or whatever under the ground, and if it creeps onto someone else's land and they're not aware of it, and all of a sudden it bubbles up, how are we gonna mitigate that?
I'm a half mile from where they're doing this. I'll be one of the first affected if there's seepage from that into the water.
More specifically, if you're half a mile, they're going to be testing your well. Again, we're here for the ordinance, read the ordinance. It's
I don't have a
specific.
copy.
We have to make more, but I had several of them out here, but they're gone.
Here, Mark. Mark. Before they even
Back on.
start, they're going to monitor and test their well for not only the depth of the water, but also the quality of it. So it's a quantity and quality test for the wells that are existing as if they were never here. And then that would be monitored on a consistent basis. They're also asking for a substantial amount of money, they being the township, as part of this ordinance, to make sure that doesn't happen. We also are asking for money for additional independent testing above and beyond what they're telling us as well too. So there's gonna be money from them before they can do anything, coming into the township to make sure that we hire the best experts we can to follow what they're doing, number one. Eagle is supposed to be responsible for it too, but we are looking at it as, let's watch out for Milan and Dundee Township, another one first. And that's the direction, that's the direction the ordinance is going right now. It's a very unique ordinance. There's only one other one like this in the country. That's in Indiana right now. And ours is, after going back and forth several times with this board, and talking to the people on the board itself, this is even more strict than anything that's ever been seen up there. But the intent is just to look out for the best interest of the community. Okay? So read the ordinance, then if you have questions, that's what we're here for right now.
Could you say again the part that you said about so far they're only putting down a well and then the last part of that statement?
They're only putting down an exploratory well.
Exploratory well, that's.
Yeah, what they're doing, they're not even putting that in. Right now, they only ask for a permit to do an exploratory well for people.
And that's to see if this ground is adequate for what they want to do.
That's what we're making the assumption. They're calling it exploratory, but they won't specifically say what you just said.
Okay.
Were you aware of that, what that test well over by me? The cement plant has a test well for the water depth, not far from me.
No, but I do know that the one in London Township does have wells around it and that type of thing, so. But I don't know what your specific well, no.
I can show you, tell you about it after.
So how deep is this exploratory?
2,500 feet. They'll be going through your lens, your aquifers, and into the hard stone environment. Now, what they're really looking for, so everybody understands too, is the rock itself has to be really hard rock, obviously, like a limestone, but it has to be porous too, because it can't accept anything if it's not porous. If it's hard granite rock like we're doing at the quarry, it won't be able to accept CO2 or anything for that matter. But they believe at this point right now that might be a location for it. We don't know what they're going to find, and that's for if they do get the permits legal,
we'll find that out.
Can't see it here. Are you allowing it on ag and industrial, or how is that going to go? Probably.
Well, right now, can't remember off the top of my head, being allowed in any area as well.
Okay, so.
None of this has been, none of this, we haven't approved nothing, we're just putting an ordinance, we really probably shouldn't be answering questions because we don't know yet.
Right.
We're here to collect your guys' concerns and stuff and adjust this and then pass this on to the board to get this approved.
So no one's made, so it's gonna be industrial.
At this point in time, yeah, that's where we allow it, you know.
Didn't they go more than a 2 mile radius from the outer edge of the injection site? Didn't they go farther? 5 miles, 10 miles? Look at London Sand, when he's telling me you're not sucking water, right? Okay, I'm good with that. But it's still you're gonna pull water veins into that. It's gonna pull people's water table down.
Yeah, and Tim, we realize that though, you know, what your concerns are, and what your concerns are, and what the other concerns are. We're just trying to get all the concerns so we can address anything else that we missed in this ordinance. So we'll try to keep it to like a 2-minute, you know, it's not a question and answer period, we'll do 2 minutes for your discussion or your comments, and then we'll move on. So, otherwise, we'll answer the question. They did put on the thing up at the school.
I was out of town when you did.
Okay, but we have information from that which we can share if anybody wants to see what that was about. I was there, several people here. So we can discuss that after. How deep the well is, what we want to do with the well. You know, I got little slides on how to put it in or they want to put it in, so we can go through that.
I have a different concern. My name's Michaela Bogey. I live in Dundee Township. Pardon my reading off my phone now to make sure I get everything.
Sorry, I didn't get your name.
Michaela Bogey. I live in Dundee Township, but very close to the proposed project area. That being said, one of my concerns is it's so close to the Dundee and London townships, but there's little to no information, notices, or anything happening related to this project. Probably like because there's like nobody here from Dundee Township that I don't know any of you. But there's no one from Dundee. There's no one from London. So just the amount of information that is being distributed is only going. I don't know where it's going.
There was nothing distributed, just so you know. We picked it up at.
Okay, I just saw it on, my mom sent a screenshot to me on Facebook, from her Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so anyway, so just the lack of information from certain townships, for certain townships that it will affect. And then this is not just a Milan Township issue. I know the wells have been brought up in the area, and if there's an issue with a Dundee or London Township well, I mean, it's a half a mile from the proposed site is Dundee Township, and it's probably a mile from London Township. How will that be addressed? Out of township things addressed. And then my main concern, however, is the quarry. Amrise, formerly Wholesome or Dundee Aggregate, whatever you want to call it, they do blasting almost every other day. I'm wondering if the constant blasting will affect the proposed plans, whether that be just the test drilling or the future, quote unquote, possibly future carbon storage. I raised my concern at the open house, to which I was answered with, it's too deep in the ground, it won't affect it at all. Then I brought up that there will have to be a pipeline bringing, it in. So they couldn't answer me if this would be subject to the blasting, constant blasting. And then if this is made to actually be a carbon storage site, it's purely experimental at this point, because as far as I know, and have been told at the open house, that none of the sites have been subject to decades of blasting, such as this site would be. And as you know, this area is full of sulfur. Another question I didn't get answered at the open house was, does sulfur and CO2 react, and what that reaction is? Because it's in the groundwater, in the air, everywhere. And that being said, I'm just worried about the health and safety of our community. All those things, that's it.
We don't have information to pass out because it wasn't informational that everyone wanted to pick things up.
No, that's
It
okay.
wasn't
I'm
sponsored
just,
by us.
I was surprised that at the open house how each area was not aware that there was a quarry there, and they were definitely not aware that there was blasting that was going on in that constant. So, I mean, I can tell you that it shakes my house, it opens my doors, it rattles things everywhere, I mean, everybody in the area, so I'm just kind of with the increased seismic activity that she was talking about, how does blasting affect that too, will that enhance it, so just raising concerns
I
to,
think at the open house, they did have a lot of answers to the questions that we asked.
yeah.
One of them, which really bothered me, was that they didn't know that DTE had interest in property.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things that we walked away with and thought was amazing.
Yep.
But
Anybody else have any questions? Or
I just got it.
Remarks?
Remarks,
Go
comments,
ahead,
yeah.
comments.
Sharon Worcester, Milan Township. I just want to make sure that you guys really think about this, and thank you for making this ordinance up. But I think the lawyer stated that you can put a moratorium on for 6 months just to see what else is going on in the state. And if I'm not mistaken, they're looking at a level 5 for making sure that they can drill. There is no level 6 around, which is CO2. So I think we have one, and it's way up north. But we need, I think, some more research on it and just kind of see what our neighbors are saying. But besides that, I don't see, I wouldn't be 6 months moratorium just to see what goes on. But that's my comment, and thank you, Dave, for all the
There
help.
is a moratorium on
Is there? I didn't know that.
when's the
it.
end date?
Expired.
October, I thought.
I think it's October.
Okay.
You're talking about the well types.
Mhm.
The only reason that they're calling this a type 5 is because in the state of Michigan, within their laws, there is no type 6. The type 6 is only in EPA jargon.
Mhm.
So they didn't know where to put it, so they gave it as a type 5, which is oil and gas. It's not oil and gas.
Exactly. So, but that's CO2. They're, okay, sorry. Thank you.
Questions? More remarks? Close the public hearing.
7/7/23.
All in favor to close the hearing?
Aye.
Opposed? Business. CO2 ordinance, everybody's had a chance to look at it, we heard the comments and stuff. Anybody want to make a motion to approve what we had, we send it to the board? Any comments?
Yeah, I think,
Would it be appropriate to ask our engineer to explain some of the concerns that were addressed?
Sure.
Anything? Go ahead. Bounces off the top of your head that you heard, seismic activity, setbacks, or, I mean, I know in passing certain ordinances, we're required to notify neighboring municipalities and townships. Can you explain where in the process that would occur?
In this particular ordinance, you don't have to. When you do a master plan, you are required to tell adjacent townships that you've changed your master plan or modified it. updated. This is just a standalone ordinance in and of itself. So once you, I will highly recommend that we do bounce it off. If not, the township attorney, attorney that is familiar with objections, to make sure that there's no problem with any of the verbiage, so we don't have a problem down the road saying, well, it's null and void because X. We don't know what X is, so. I'm more concerned about, okay, so this is just conjecture on my part. We got a well, now what? Why do we have this well? Where is it coming from? Where is it going? Where's the CO2 coming from? We kind of all know, but conjecture right now because no one will tell us per se.
We did say at the open house that there was gonna be a pipeline. What I heard.
I'm fine with it. I had a couple small questions.
Let's get it done.
Motion. Question. Or wells and infrastructure.
Sentences and Mr.
Yes.
Favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Send this up to you, Mike. Hey, is there anything more on the fiber optics coming in here? Is there anything?
They just got another permit approved for, I believe it's, I thought it was President Road, but that's why it came in. I think one, a long game when I think it's over. But we're still not receiving the drawings themselves. We're receiving the approval from the road commission saying, go ahead and do it. But we don't have the drawings per se that they are approving. What side of the road it's on, making sure they comply it within the 32 feet order that we wanted. And in all fairness, the road commissioner was overwhelmed by this fiber optic situation going on in the entire county. So.
And they don't have the authority to stop it until
Well, they do.
process it.
They do. This is what happened here recently, when that maybe a couple of weeks ago. The road commission said, you're overwhelming us. Not only, there's like 5 companies out there that are really cramming us down everybody's throat in the entire county. So the road commission came out and said, listen, we can only look at 2 of these a week. There's too much information. You can't give us so many of 40 of them per week.
Hey, Mark.
So they weren't clear in their request. So one company said, okay, fine, this is 1 permit, but it's 85 miles. So it kind of defeated the purpose of the intent, I guess, is the way of putting it. So I know that they're being overwhelmed. If in fact we see that cable fiber optic is not being put in the proper location, we can't tell the road commission. I've highly suggested to the road commission and to the drain commission that they locate it based on actual true section corners, not where the road is. And I explained it to the road commission, and they understand, but the center of the road isn't your property. The property is based on where the section line is. And that section line in that road could be 3 to 5 feet either way. So the center of the road is being used for construction. So theoretically, the fiber optic could be 5 foot under your private property. or 5 feet away from the corridor that they're supposed to be established. So, and that's going on everywhere in the county, it's not just Milan Township.
And when does that window close? Like you mentioned the date earlier.
December 2026, they have to be in and installed and functioning. That's part of the Biden administration free money to give some communications to rural communities.
Thank you.
So I guess I have a question. Is this all over the county, that means there would be that many of those centers? Or there's just that many possibilities that they're just putting these permits out there, sure that they get what they want?
No, this is apples and oranges, it's not a data center, we're talking about fiber optic cable going underground.
Oh,
So
I
you
see,
can
I'm
have
sorry.
television
Oh,
or
okay,
internet.
okay.
That's
And
what that is.
that's why I was a little confused, because you mentioned the Biden money, and so I thought, well, that isn't.
That has nothing to do with the
Yeah,
data center.
okay, so that now you got, I'm with you now, thank you, yeah.
Who else? Anything on the fiber optic?
He needs that back. I 4 copies. We need. I would go do it, but.
Move on, cell tower. I see there's an email date, but I didn't really get the gist of it. What was the guy asking on the cell tower?
I will review that again tomorrow, or, yeah, I'll review it again tomorrow. I came in this afternoon, it was somewhat cryptic. I will get into that and get back to you on that.
Okay.
Okay. As for the cell tower itself, we briefly talked about it at the previous planning commission. There's only a couple of small changes that you really need, really need to make in order to just clean up that ordinance, so.
I got this stuff here, I was gonna get, I got my notes, if you have an ordinance, I can go through it. The numbers here, if you guys have it.
I can have it.
Yeah, just both of you.
No, I just brought this up today.
Through it.
Some highlighted, changes.
Yeah, I got it here.
Well, I can go over it with you and write it up, and give it to Tim, because I've asked before, and they haven't asked. So I'll have to come over and get it, maybe tonight before we go. Got a copy before you go, and then I'll work on that, then.
You got that over there? Yeah, okay, well, I'll just go through this quick, what I marked up on it for the day, I'll do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Pretty. But the ordinance we have in the book right now is 13.14 telecommunication counts. Yeah, we'll see the purpose and definitions, which I was okay through that. Special approval use in A1, A2, I1, and I2. Keep that question mark. A. And I just have to comment on item number 2, special approval use. Which is nice here. It says the granting of special approval use permit, the planning commission may impose conditions to extend the planning commission in the extent that the planning commission includes such conditions are necessary. So that's kind of nice, kind of gives you some authority to put some conditions on. And we come down to landscape, which is on B. D. Landscape plan, the landscape plan here to me, we can leave it in there, but I would rather have nothing except for a 6-foot fence and opaque screen. Because all the cell towers that I've seen in the past several months, have fence around them, trees that are dead, fell over. I'm just going through it.
So, all these ordinances that I've been a part of in the past, whenever we required screening, there, I believe we put in language. It said, you know, so many feet apart on the spacing, and if they die, they have X amount of time to replace it with a living plant, or wait until the nearest appropriate planting season for that plant, according to an arborist or whatever. And there was always a requirement, so I don't know if, you know, you've been very eloquent of saying, hey, there's always dead things that look like garbage, and I agree with you. Are those in our township?
Yes. Well, okay, I'll show you one.
No,
There's one
I
on-
believe you.
There's one on, I don't know if it's in our township,
Denison and that.
Denison.
Yeah.
Denison Ag.
So, I mean, I'm just asking, would you rather see that provision eliminated, and just, all right, we'll just look at the fence, or
I would,
beefing up the greenbelt provision in this that says, hey, if it dies,
No.
you gotta.
because I've not only seen this, I've seen it at these older plants, that stuff's already dying. There's no control over these green belts. Green belts just get, and then once they plant some trees, they're forgotten about. Nobody goes out and looks at them, there's no sheriff in town for it.
We got 10.
I know, we got, but
You too.
it's just, to me, the trees that are dead and tipped over look worse than an opaque. I mean, we don't have to do that, it's just my.
No, I would rather be, you know, I don't know, is there a way to better enforce that? I mean, would you actually require like an escrow security bond?
Wouldn't require an escrow, but I would just call Tim if there's one out and they have to be taken care of, make sure to put it in writing. A lot of townships do have exactly what you were talking about, that, but they expect to see, would like to be there now or within the next growing season. Not a count.
What are we trying to cover up?
Well, I know.
The cell
because
towers.
actually the cell towers, so 200 feet in the air,
Yeah.
you're only covering up the electrical panels that are within the fencing perimeter.
I mean, the weeds and the green belt are, it's just a mess. I kind of agree that if maybe they should just go around and get rid of the weeds and,
Put a
yeah.
10-foot high fence that you can't see through.
Yeah, I was curious.
The problem with that,
It's trying to
what I
enforce it.
see in this township, in every township, you drive around, there is lighted stuff, barns falling down, you name it, and the only ones that are getting hit are the big hitters that are bothering somebody or whatever. This, to clean up this township, it would take Mr. Doobie to go around this township a month and identify all these places and try to figure out how to attack. They're all over. I mean, it's just drive them down. They're craziness. We can't take care of what we have now. That's why I said, don't put something in place that we can't take care of. That's
Well,
my only-
what you can do though, Nick, is leave it in, and then you can waive it when it comes in. Because like,
Yeah,
the one that's coming in right now is that old stranger of Wells Road. That's it, but you can't get any more than over than that. But if you get one that's in closer to an area that maybe you do wanna hide them, you wouldn't have anything in your ordinance to, accurate. Just clean up that, if you do wanna hide it or something. But I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah, these are my comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there's that one. There is another one that is, and this is just this kind of, so the setbacks are the height of the tower plus 50 foot. And that sounds fine, but it's just a note.
I'm sorry, what part of the ordinance?
Oh,
Oh,
425.
Yeah.
Like this 10,000 feet between them. So I put that like that. That's just a note.
Why would that be in there? I mean, I know you didn't write this, but
Which one?
why cell towers have to be separated by 10,000 feet?
Well, when the whole cell tower thing started coming into play, everybody had their own tower, whether it's AT&T, Verizon, so you can have 3 or 4 towers within a quarter mile of each other. And now if you see the way that this one's written, they're required to have an area that another carrier can actually be put on that, so it minimizes the amount of towers within a community.
Go to the next item here. Talks about security fencing and I said if you want to hide those selection boxes, that's what picture you need. It's just a note. Landscape one. I put a word here. I don't want you to know what it says. Abandonment. 12 months. Oh, okay. They got 12 months to get rid of abandonments, but it looks like if they don't abandon them, it goes to the property owner. What I got out of this? Well, the towers are not removed within 12 months of the cessation of the operation at the site. The tower and associated facilities shall be removed by the township and the cost of removal. So, it's the real property, which would be. Once we get that money, then
That said, our residents are a property owner in the township for being on the hook for if the
it's
cell company just packs up in the middle of the night and takes off.
I think we could. This is, I said, this can go, but I think we could put some money in there to say, oh, you pay. Put money in escrow. I think it's harder to get the money from the owners of the property than this company that's going to put it up before they put it up. Oh, item C, this should come out. This is, I think it's just this is about a charter township of Comstock. That whole item. That whole item can come out. Because it's about ownership, putting them on property owned by township. If this don't come out, we gotta take out charter township. Of Comstock.
In replace with Milan Township?
My notes are remove the whole section. Oh, that's not needed. Milan Township don't own property that you put, we let it put them on unless it's this 60 acres. But if we leave it in, change the township. Oh, then it says here in item D that they can go in all zones. So,
Anybody else have anything on cell tower?
Then once you get those comments, you give it to Stephanie. Is that what it is?
We'll be ready to get that straight out. I can look at it and get it. What do we do, just amend that, or do we have to?
You can, if you want Steph to do it, or we can, we just set it up and we'll fix it and send it back to you.
Okay. That our review, Mark? We'll make 2 copies of that, Nick. Residential solar is next on there. Tim's working on Tim Luby was found a ordinance that we could use. And also to, electrical, and let's make sure it's up to code. Justin, you have anything that you work with that has that? Everything on that day for.
No, I was waiting for you guys to kind of tell us what direction you want to go with it, and then we can package it, put something together. Quite a bit of it's going to fall, it depends on the size, of course, but a lot of it's going to fall within the building code.
Two, three.
I'll table that for now, then. I would.
We have started on it.
I'm just saying all the people that are trying to fit in what
Okay.
around here.
Okay.
We're on the
Area. Yeah. Free.
Okay.
We might have to, we might have to take it over.
Yeah, I know one property where it's going into that. So I think, as far as I know, they're all electrical units.
The only thing I see, you know, only big thing I see there is if somebody puts one. You know, so that would be why we should probably have one. H top.
That's the board. Do we do that? Do we ask the board to put a moratorium on that?
Have you seen any residential solar ordinances?
I'll just talk to Mark, maybe, if you have some information, you can send it to us, otherwise we can just go ahead and put something together, and we can start. We can work on it based on editing instead of just trying to start fresh. Yeah. Feel like that's what you wish. Yeah.
So, I mean, just to kind of stay on topic about, I want to say last winter, I talked to a representative from a solar company. And he was sniffing around the township under the title of residential solar, not industrial solar like with Apex, but with residential solar. And I had a bunch of questions, and again, I'm not terribly familiar with the laws that are on the books up in Lansing, but he seemed to think. And when he said residential solar, this wasn't like a couple panels in your backyard. It was like a system self-contained on one property by one property owner. I don't know if it would be a lease or own, or I believe they were leasing the land. But he was under the impression, he told me that there's not a system in place in the state of Michigan to allow that to happen. But he was doing some groundwork and talking to people in preparation. They had anticipated that Lansing was going to act on some kind of more residential, local level solar. I didn't know if you were.
I haven't heard anything about it, but it would shock me. I could find out about that too as well. And I think what you're trying to do is anything less than 50 kilowatt, you got a hole there between 0 and 50 kilowatt. What do you do with it? And it's almost like having a home occupation. That home solar is supposed to take care of just your house. You can't be selling it or they're taking it off the property. Then you start talking about filling up 5 acres, but you're still under the 50 kilowatt. Yeah. So I think that's where we're going in that direction with the ordinance. It's better to define that. And I'll check with my people on that. See what they got for that.
Public community solar, so I went to a thing on this. It's not allowed in Michigan as of right now. It's not legal. I know it's legal in Minnesota.
Can you just define it? Is it like kind of under the 50 kilowatt?
Yes. I don't know exactly what it was, but you got like the large utility scale that they're trying to do around here. And then you have your residential stuff. This is kind of like in the middle. It's called community solar. I don't know the wattage or anything, but I do know it's like around the 20-acre mark is where they're targeting on the property. And then they feed it back into the lines around you, and then the community gets kickbacks off their energy bill. Yeah, the target, they're trying to do it on like the 20-acre stuff and like commercial buildings, industrial buildings, on like rooftops and stuff like that. That's kind of where they're targeting. Like I say, I know it's legal in Minnesota, and they're trying to pass it where it gets built in Michigan. I don't know where it's at or whatever, but I know there's a company that are starting to go around to jump on that. So if it does pass in Michigan, right there at the forefront of it.
And net metering system, it's called net metering, where you make X amount and give it back to them. It's really.
That's what I call it, community solar, because it's going back to the local community, and then they're giving you like a rebate on your next.
But the problem is that Detroit is, as well as consumers, got unfavorable to that now. There, it's not in their business to take their electricity back. There's some scams going on for the last couple of years out there too. Where they'll come to your house, we'll fill up your roof with solar panels, and you'll never have that electricity bill ever again. And it's never turned out. There's that's actually suits in some states right now.
Still have an electricity bill built to from PTE bill. My dad had solar panels, and he's like, "Why did I get a bill?" It was like $17, but they said for the service,
For the potential service you may need.
Yeah, or
Right.
something like that. So he got shocked by that one.
Right. Have anything else?
No, sir.
Nick?
I want to say thanks to Dave, our engineer, for all the hard work he did on this ordinance. It's to the point it's fast and we can get to the point. And we got them off our plate.
This other stuff, this was a priority.
Yep.
Said Justin?
Yeah, I was just gonna say same sure with it, because we went through line by line on this after he brought it to us on initial. We did a lot of adjustments to make it stronger, so definitely stronger than what he did.
Okay, we're gonna open up for public comment for 5 minutes each. Anybody got any public comment? Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Opposed?
I don't know.
It's getting dark in here.
I just thought that was for the air conditioning. It's like,
When we first got here, it was Friday.
you guys look great. Oh, yay. Okay, and we done?